Good morning. I'm Catherine Alexander, founder of the Bridge to Partnership and the Coming Home Project. And my focus is trying to help us get through all of the meta-poly crisis we're in. There are so many things falling apart. But the basis, the thing we should pay attention to, in my opinion, is the planet. Because if the planet doesn't work well for us, we're toast. And all the rest of it will just be for naught. So that's where I'm focused. But this podcast is going to be a little different because we're in a different crisis. It's not the same kind of crisis we're used to. It's not against something. We look at leadership as something to follow, something that's going to save us, help us out of stuff. And we look at warriors as people who fight against something. And there's such a tendency to want to be a warrior and want to fight. And there's nothing to fight against in this kind of crisis. We have met the enemy and he is us. So it's us we're looking at. And it's not about fighting against us. It's fighting for us, if there's any fighting to be done. We're not fighting against anything. That's one of the shifts. We want to partner with the planet. We want to be a part of the solution. We want to live on this planet. There's two major challenges that I see we're facing. The first is to know what's right. And the second is to rebalance the planet. So I said it's a different kind of crisis. We need to know what to do. And that's really the key. What do you do in a situation where you're literally trying to keep alive, which is pretty basic, but it's not fighting against anything? How do we manage that shift? How do we stay alive with joy? We are so enculturated into thinking that life is hard and difficult. And it's only hard and difficult when you're in resistance, when you're not listening to what's happening around you. You know, evolution, which is there, every evolution exists. We are in evolution. And there's lots of talk about our species evolving, that this is a test for our maturity, our maturing into the species we truly are meant to be. So evolution would suggest that there is sort of a new approach to life, that there are different things to do, a new time, something unique has appeared that gives new opportunities and new possibilities. And if humanity is on the cusp of that, then my question is, what is the newness that we're looking at? If the problem is staying alive with joy, where's the experts? Who has done that? Who can we look to learn from? So there are three that I would like to put forward as experts. The first are sharks. Sharks have been on the planet for 450 million years. These folks have seen some change, and they're still here, although they're dying now because of us. But they have survived the vicissitudes of life for 450 million years. We are a harder nut to crack. Whales. Another candidate is whales. Whales have been here for 50 million years. They too have seen changes. And in fact, they went on to land and changed their mind and went back into the ocean. There's got to be some wisdom there. And the other one I would put forward are cockroaches. Cockroaches have been around for 99 million years. So these are animals that have done the same thing every living thing does, is find out how to be alive, how to stay alive, how to thrive on this planet. And they have succeeded way beyond our paltry 2.8 million versus 450 million. We are children in terms of their success on this planet. So there's something about life on the planet that has been here. There's something about maybe the planet herself, who has also been here way beyond everybody else. There are some things they are doing that we are not. And maybe we can learn from that. Humans didn't exist until 65 million years after the dinosaurs died. All these other creatures were here before, during, and after the dinosaurs' death. There's a wisdom in other life that we would be wise to pay attention to. So I said there were two major challenges: know what's right and rebalance the planet. Those are the two challenges we have. So how do we, what do I mean by know what's right? When we talk about right, what also comes up right away is wrong. And we as humans have been so caught in what's right and what's wrong. We have fields of ethics that try and help us determine that. We've got religions that have tried to help us determine that. But I think we've all gotten it just a little bit askew of what the actual question really is about, because there's no wrong. Right, in my view, is what supports life, what makes it possible for us to stay on the planet in a healthy, robust, vital, and vibrant way. Anything else is not right. It doesn't yield the same result. It's not about being good in the sense of not being bad. It is about being effective in learning how to live well. We have not done that very well because we've been looking in the wrong direction with the wrong filter. So now is a chance for us to reframe that. All actions have consequences. It's just what is. But if you're trying to fine-tune your skill, if you're trying to actually stay here, then the actions that have the consequences that help that are right or good if you wish to do that. And those actions which don't help us do that are not actions to repeat. It's not rocket science, but we're having a great deal of difficulty doing it right now. We are caught in all sorts of beliefs about the world that don't happen to be true, but the consequences of those beliefs are not in support of life continuing on the planet. They're beliefs. We made them up. We can remake them. And we might look to those creatures who've been around for a long time. We might look to the planet herself to see if we can discern what sorts of patterns of behavior have been effective over time. So how should I live is something that I have been involved in my entire life, trying to figure that out. I looked first to ethics, and I have a whole class on why, or what I learned in that search. The values that we have chosen to live by are all human-centric, and that has made us selfish and greedy and other things, because the impact of those actions coming from those belief sets has not been actions that allow us to stay on the planet with a robust life and joy, because they're not life-centric. Small shift. I have spent over 20 years of my life researching, looking at what has life used? What are the principles that keep life thriving on the planet? When I think of the planet Earth, we're a different breed. This planet is different than all the other planets we have found or seen or looked at. With all our magical science, we have not found a planet like us. I'm not saying they don't exist. That's not the point. The point is we have never seen one. And what's different about us is life. When you look at Earth from outer space, what you see is green and blue and white, clouds, water, plants. There's nothing else like us that we have found so far. That makes this place very special. And it is the place that's special, not us. And we're special in our own funny way, like spiders are special and birds are special. Everything is unique. Everything is amazing, including us. But the planet itself is home, is a source of such amazing diversity, such amazing life. So it would seem that the foundational purpose of everything here is to keep life going. Life loves life. Life wants to live. Life will continue to live. We may not. So if we, as an entity, smart and brilliant as we think we are, want to continue being here, we need to look at the foundational task that everyone who lives on the planet, except humans, fulfills, and that is to create the conditions that support life continuing. We don't create the conditions under which life can continue. We are creating conditions in which life dies. We forgot the context in which we exist, which is life. We don't exist outside of that. We've not paid attention to it. We've taken it so for granted. So now is the time for regenerative leaders to bring that back. And that's what I mean by regenerative leadership. Regenerative leaders come from the 4 intents that the planet comes from. Use the 16 principles that the planet uses. It is, I believe, a revealed ethical system that's been in front of us for our entire existence, but we have never really paid attention to, with the exception of indigenous cultures who have learned to live this way. But those of us who are not in the indigenous world have not. And we are the ones who are making the dramatic differences that we're having to deal with. It's not the indigenous folks, it's us. So we need to come back home. We need to understand this very old ethical stance. And we can use both science and indigenous wisdom to learn that. We can learn to discern what is right. It's not outside of our abilities by any means. It's very much something we can do. I mean, certainly the indigenous prove that. They too are human. They too have lived on this planet for thousands of years. But they have been able to live in their cultures for thousands of years without disturbing the balance of life on the planet. We have not. In a few hundred years, we have destroyed the balance of life on the planet. That speaks to a certain kind of power, but also to a certain kind of, I want to say stupidity, but that's really not what it is. It's immaturity. We've just not appreciated the context in which we live. The indigenous people focus on the context in which they live and work very hard to work with it, to support it. These are things we can learn. It's a new time. So it's not about going back, but it is bringing forward that understanding along with the new things we have learned, but bending those new things to serve life instead of serving us. If we can do that, I think miracles will happen. But it does require a certain reverence for life. And I am using reverence because I believe that's key. And we can achieve that reverence through science, believe it or not. I've got lots of stories, lots of meditative practices actually that will help us experience that. And through relationship. It is truly through a relationship with life that we will discover the path forward. So I'm inviting you to come and learn these things. Join us on the Coming Home Project. Check out my website, Bridge to Partnership. Click through, explore, and join us. Take the 5-week course, Reclaiming Wisdom, and experience some of the things that I'm talking about today. You can register on my website, or you can get coached, where we can explore very intimately how you and your life can reflect this new value system, this new way of being that is so very ancient. We have a unique opportunity to step out of the fear that we've been living in for millions of years, I think, and into a reverence and appreciation. It's a new space and an old space at the same time. We don't create it, it's already there waiting for us. We just have to be in right relationship with the rest of life. We have to care. We have to value, which is why reverence is so important. And then we have to take actions that are congruent with that understanding. Taking action. We have a hard time with that too, don't we? We can do stuff. We certainly have done stuff for a long time. But when it requires change, when it requires doing something different, when it requires loss, we're not so cool. We are going to lose some of the things we've had. The question is, can we keep the things we value, the things that really serve us and serve life? Can we do them? Can we do that technology in a way that is life-centric? That's a huge, huge task and an amazing accomplishment. If we can shift the technologies we treasure to be life-enhancing instead of supported on the back of death, we are creating a whole new world. And that's my invitation to you, is to help create this brand new world. So join us. The Coming Home Project, bridgetopartnership.com. There's a link there on that. Come join us. Learn how to do this. Partner with others to make this shift. Get coached. Take classes. Join us on Reclaiming Wisdom and begin to walk into and hard. So I encourage you to take that step. Let's partner with the earth. Thank you. Talk to you soon.